Christopher Steele, who co-owned an investigative firm in London called Orbis Business Intelligence, was enjoying the limelight too. A Hollywood production company, owned by the actor George Clooney, had bought the rights to his story, and in late 2019, he attended a celebrity-filled event at a trendy London restaurant. The party was held to honor a new editor of Vanity Fair magazine, and guests included Colin Firth, the well-known actor, and Monica Lewinsky, the former White House intern with whom Bill Clinton had an affair and who now wrote for Vanity Fair. The magazine had earlier published a profile of Steele that depicted him as a kind of James Bond for the Trump era. It described him as an ex-spy who knew where all the bodies were buried in Russia, and who, as the wags liked to joke, had even buried some of them. Steele was reveling in the moment. As the party was breaking up, another guest asked him for his business card. Steele thought he was being asked for his autograph, so he picked up his place card from the table and, pulling out a pen, signed it with a flourish. I was interested in Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele for a different reason. The dossier and the massive political and cultural fallout it spawned epitomized the oversized impact that private spies were suddenly having on politics, business, and our personal lives. Around the same time that the Steele dossier was disclosed, it was revealed that Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein had hired 4 different corporate investigations firms to dig up dirt on women accusing him of sexual assault. One of those companies, Black Cube, which was based in Israel, dispatched a female operative who posed as an activist for women's rights in order to befriend one of Weinstein's accusers and get information that the producer's lawyers could use against her. Everywhere one looked, operatives-for-hire seemed to be running amok. Reporters covering the trial of a lawsuit against a chemical company over the health dangers of its weed killer were approached by a woman who claimed to be a journalist but turned out to be working for a crisis management firm representing the company. About the same time, a lawyer who long had been locked in a dispute with 3 businessmen from Eastern Europe discovered that private spies had planted a tiny motion-sensitive video camera in a tree outside his home that recorded the license plate of every car entering the property. Elsewhere, private operatives working on behalf of Credit Suisse, a big bank, chased one of its former executives through the streets of Zurich, Switzerland. The incident began when the ex-employee discovered the spies were shadowing him and used his cell phone to take a picture of one of them. The private eye demanded that the man turn over his phone, and when he refused, the spy tried to rip it away. The chase ended with the arrest of an investigator. Private investigators once were content to lurk in the shadows. Now politicians were hiring them to dig up dirt on opponents. Companies were employing them to torpedo investigations into their activities by authorities or journalists, and dictators were using them as freelance intelligence agents. A new generation of cheap, off-the-shelf technology was also making it easier for hired operatives to monitor cell phones, hack emails, and manipulate social media. Private spying was no longer a small business. It had become a hidden billion-dollar industry. In the process, private spies had become more emboldened than ever before, just as their power to influence events had become more pervasive. There is little question that private investigators take on legitimate assignments. They track down missing people, locate witnesses to testify in court cases, and conduct background investigations for companies into prospective executives or potential business partners. Still, everyone in the industry knows it's secret, that the big money is made not by exposing the truth, but by papering it over or concealing it. Spies for hire are part of a wider web of enablers, lawyers, public relations executives, crisis management consultants, who serve the powerful and wealthy. But what makes private operatives unique is that they are the unseen part of that web, taking on the kinds of jobs that other people don't know how to do or don't want to get caught doing. Private operatives invariably say they never engage in hacking. But instead of hacking themselves, some operatives farm out hacking jobs to subcontractors in India, Eastern Europe, or elsewhere. Private investigators